In this video, we'll see how to use the Sentinel GIS Service Request web application and the Service Request tools in ArcGIS Desktop. The Service Request web application can be accessed through any web browser. I happen to be using Google Chrome, and I have Service Request Web installed locally, so for the URL I'll put localhost/SentinelGIS. If this is installed on a server, I would put the IP address of the server and then /SentinelGIS. I could then bookmark this page so that I can easily get to it from here on. The default username and password is simply admin, lowercase, and the password SentinelGIS, all one word, lowercase. Let me log in. I have two main tabs, Administration and the Service Requests. If I go to Administration, I can remove users and add users. So let's say that I wanted to add a new user. And make that user role only user. The password has to contain at least one number and at least one symbol in addition to letters. So I'll create that user. Now that user has been successfully added. If I log back in as that user, I'll have the Service Requests page, but not the administration page. For the service requests, I have entry and search. Let's look at the search page. I don't have service requests entered in this database yet, so we won't actually use the service request search, but I can search based on name, phone number, email, the request number, a date range, the status, and priority. And that will come up with a list of service requests that I can then run some simple reports on or drill down into and get information about. I'm going to enter a new service request, so on the entry page we'll create request. It enters the date and time automatically for when this request was created. I can specify a priority. I can specify a status, whether it's open or assigned. If I leave it open, then all technicians would be able to see this request on the mobile. If I assign it, then I must pick a technician, and it would only show up for that technician. Zone I don't have to enter because it will be automatically entered when the request is geocoded. And then supervisor is also optional. For caller information, if I check the box for anonymous caller, I can still enter the information here, but it won't show up on the handheld. I do have to, and it's also not required that I enter anything here as well for address and phone number, etc. If I need to recontact the caller, let's say that this was not an anonymous caller, if I need to recontact them after the request is done, I can specify the preferred method of contact. I'm going to put in our office location here, 154 First Avenue West in Jerome. And then if I check the box here for the problem location, same as caller, it will copy that information over from the caller details. The problem location description would be something like backyard. I can also specify a cross street, what subdivision this is in, whether there's a locked gate or a dog, a gate code, etc. Problem information consists of target and then a summary of the problem. And then comments would be anything that I would like the field person to see. if the caller information address matches the problem location address, I can also check the box to give permission to enter, so there's a record there of whether the caller gives permission to enter if that's required. Some places it is, some places it's not. So we'll save that, and that assigns a service request number 1. Okay, so I'll minimize the web application and bring up the ArcMap service request tools. If I go into View Service Requests, that service request that I just entered, it attempts to geocode that service request. And in this case, it shows an X there that it wasn't geocoded. I could also filter by whether it's geocoded or not. Now that could be because that address is a newer address and it wasn't found in the address locator. Let's enter another address into the web application so we can see one that does geocode and one that doesn't. So I'll just say that this is an anonymous caller. And we'll put in another address on First Avenue West. And save that request. So then back under service requests, when I view the service requests, it will attempt to geocode, and it also did not geocode that one. So let's check our geocoding settings here. Okay, so it is configured. So there are some reasons why geocoding may not occur. The address may not be typed in correctly, or it may not be found in the address locator. In that case, I can manually assign this service request to a location on the map. So if I know that that should be here, then I can place it there. Same way with this other one. That should be over here. So now they're located on the map. The other option would be to locate them with GPS once the field tech is at the address. So geocoding is important for some people, or in some instances it's not always important because the address may be easy to find even without it being located on the map. There are a few other things that I can do here in the service request viewer in ArcMap. I can assign a service request to an employee. Okay, so now both of those show up as assigned to me. I can mark it as closed, so after something has been done, I can review what's been done and then mark it as closed. And I can zoom to the location. The actual request details cannot be edited here in the service request viewer in ArcMap. Those instead are edited back here in the service request application, the web application. And the way that would work, I would go to the search page and perhaps I could enter in a date range. I'm searching for service requests that are assigned. When I do a search, it'll show the service requests in the system that meet that criteria, and then I can click on the ID number and come in and edit the request. So maybe I have some more information to add. Or I need to correct the address. and then save that. I'll log out. So back here in the service request toolbar, if I have just made changes to the service requests and want to send a field technician out, then I can extract map data for the mobile devices, and I'll just uncheck everything except zones and roads, and that will extract the updated service requests. Also, if I connect to handheld and do a merge would extract the updated service requests as well. I do want to point out also that both larviciding and surveillance have an option in the configuration utility to include service request in the extract to the mobile. So if that's the case, you'll be able to see the service requests inside larviciding or inside surveillance without having to open up service request separately. So that covers using the service request application on the desktop.